stand by.
3, 2, 1.
The following program comes from executive producer Lilian Garcia.
Every athlete is on this quest. Every performer dives in head first, battling real-life challenges and overcoming obstacles in an effort to make their dreams reality. Singer, speaker, and 15-year WWE host Lilian Garcia was the first woman to ever announce Wrestlemania and is now the PFL MMA cage announcer.
Oh, yeah!
And now she's giving you an all-access pass to the human interest stories of elite athletes,
Extraordinary entertainers and wellness experts.
Now, let's embark on another fascinating journey
Of chasing glory.
with your host, Lilian Garcia.
Wow, we did it! So excited, guys. Welcome to Chasing Glory, 100th episode. What? Okay, that's like the biggest hashtag mind blown moment right now. I am so excited. Guys, we did this because I couldn't have done this by myself. No way. You did this with me, and I thank you so much. What a journey it has been, right? The stories that we've heard from our unbelievable guests. First, I got to thank the guests. They have poured their hearts out on here, telling us things that they've never, ever shared before. Like they're private things, but they did it in a way of wanting to help people. And they said, you know what, if my story can help somebody out there, and that's the purpose of the show, then I'm all for it. And that's what has happened. And it's just been so incredible also to get all your reviews, because hearing that you don't feel so alone anymore, hearing that this has changed your life and that it's helping you, and every Monday, you've got that Monday motivation going for you, or whenever you listen to this, it inspires me to keep going. It takes a lot to put this show on. I am not gonna lie. It takes a lot. And when I started this 2 summers ago, the summer of 2017, I knew it was gonna be a lot, but I also knew that this is what I wanted to do. And it has been just going on such full steam. Over 6 million downloads. This is crazy. But more than anything, again, the way it's impacted you. So thank you guys. And I want to thank my staff, okay? Because like I said, it takes a lot to put the show on, and I can't do this by myself. So I want to thank my staff. George Hermosa, he has been with me since day one. George is amazing. Those bios that you guys hear that I do over that tremendous inspirational music. That's so like that Rocky moment. Those are written by George Hermosa. So I really love his style of writing, and it's just so great to hear right before the guest comes on, to hear all their accomplishments. So George, thank you so much. And he's also responsible for some more writing on the show with the descriptions and all. So he's our writing guy. He's amazing. Oliver Drennan, you guys see all the social media posts when it comes to the videograms that you see every week. That is Oliver's work. So Oliver, thank you so much for putting your heart and your soul into this, and for being with me for such a long time as well. Stacy Samadani. Oh, I don't know where I'd be without Stacy. She is my assistant. She's incredible. She just helps me in so many ways. So thank you, Stacy, for coming on board, for being part of not only Chasing Glory, but just my life in helping me daily. Also, Waylon Myers. Waylon does the thumbnails. He does a lot of like social media graphics and stuff. I love Waylon, and thank you so much, Waylon, for all your help with the show. And let's see, Sean Gosser and Jim Daniels. So they are responsible for editing the show, like the audio of the show. Now, this is the first time, guys. If you're seeing this right now on YouTube, you're seeing this from the Chasing Glory studios here in Hollywood, because we're bringing this to you in video. Now, my goal is to get more and more video out there. I can't do it every single episode yet, but that is the goal as I continue to chase my own journey of glory and bring this to you every week for video. But for now, we've got this show, the 100th show on video. And so Jim and Sean, they help the audio portion. But here with me in the studio is Johnny behind the cameras, who is helping with the video portion of this. Thank you, Johnny. I get that nod up there. And above all, I just, let's say, I don't want to forget Greg Fry. Greg Fry is helping with the website. He does my own personal website. And now, As of today, Chasing Glory has a website. It's just chasingglorypodcast.com. It is all things Chasing Glory on there. So make sure you visit that. Greg Fry is a big help with that. And so thank you, Greg, for getting us up on the web with chasingglorypodcast.com. You can also follow the show at Chasing Glory Podcast on Instagram, and myself at Lilian Garcia on Instagram and Twitter. And above all, like I said, is my husband. Thank you, CJ, because you've been a tremendous help with this entire journey. Even you see all of this back here in the wall, the white. This was his work. Just little by little, stone by stone, he was putting it up there. So I can't thank my husband enough for being part of this. And it takes a village, guys. It takes a village. All right, so your reviews. I can't thank you again for writing your reviews. 5 stars, guys. We have 5 stars, over 6 million downloads. And so I told you that I wanted to give you something for writing all those reviews. So weekly, we've been picking a winner. And then at the end of the month, that winner has been going into a drawing for an 8x10 and also an autographed t-shirt. Or an autographed 8x10 or a t-shirt. And a t-shirt. How about that? Let's just get it all right. Anyway, so this week, though, we wanted to do something little different and put together a really cool box. Well, now all the stuff fell. Hey, as you guys know, I keep it real raw, and of course, hopefully it's inspiring here. So I'm gonna have to get down because I dropped all my stuff. How about that? It's cold studio. All right. So anyway, got a bunch of goodies in here. There's t-shirts. Oh, you know what? I didn't pick out the Chasing Glory t-shirt, but you guys know what that one looks like. Obviously, the Chasing Glory t-shirt, the Lilian t-shirt is going to be in this box. We've got the PFL, because I'm now part of the PFL, the Professional Fighters League. You get to actually go online and pick your choice of 2 items if you get to be the winner for that. SummerSlam's coming up, so I had this t-shirt and I autographed it. And so you get this t-shirt for SummerSlam. Also, I've got 2 items that I have worn, one in the ring and this one was on the red carpet. I think you guys have probably seen this a lot. This was on the red carpet. We were celebrating SummerSlam. So I decided because it's SummerSlam coming up, going ahead and giving this away. So I'll autograph this. This will be part of the giveaway as far as this as well. I wore this in the ring. This I will autograph that. And then, of course, a Amazon gift card will also be in there for $100. And so I asked you guys to write reviews, and we are ready to pick the winner. Dun, dun, dun. My team handed this to me. They picked the winner. So I haven't even read this yet. Okay. Brandon Hogland, you are the winner. It's called Inspired by the Guest. This podcast has picked me up so many times. From the guests that you had on before to all the WWE superstars. Charlotte's story of physical abuse rang a few bells with me personally. I was a victim of mental abuse. Nothing I did was right, including working 2 jobs, one at night and the other during the day. It was never enough. I am happy to say that I left my marriage and that I'm doing much better because of it. I learned that no matter what happens, your opinion matters or should matter to others as long as it's not hurtful to the other party. I couldn't agree with you more, Brandon. I enjoy the podcast so much. It's such a joy to hear the stories of the superstars as well as yourself. I am 48 now, and I've been watching the WWE back since it was called the WWF. I admire both the men and the women who have entertained me over the years. So in closing, thank you so much for the inspiration, and to all of them, thank you for the entertainment over the years. Well, thank you, Brandon, for that 5-star review. And you are going to be getting all of this, the Amazon gift card, the Chasing Glory t-shirt, all that good stuff, the autographed 8x10s. And then don't forget to keep sending those review in, guys, because I will be picking winners every single week. And then at the end of the month, so next week, it's the end of the month, I'll go ahead and pick another winner. By the way, we got the Raw reunion tonight tonight, Monday night, I will be there at Raw, Tampa, Florida. So excited to be back with everybody. Just can't wait to see all of you with this continued chase for glory. We'll see where the next 100 episodes take us. And so, yeah. So, what the heck? What is going on?
Happy 100. Happy 100.
Oh my God. CJ, wow. I just thanked you. How sweet
How's
of
that
you.
for an entrance, little beastie boys? Check it out. Check it out, 100.
100. I know. I can't believe.
love you, sweetie.
That's so sweet. Thank you.
I think I just overheard you thanking everybody.
Yes, I did. I just thanked you. He just brought me, for you that are listening to this, he just brought me a whole bouquet of flowers. How sweet of you. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you so
You know
much.
what?
What's
You say
that?
thank you, but the thanks goes to you. It really does. I don't think you know how much you're doing with this show. And I got to say, you know what? I'm not going to cry. I don't think you guys out there know how much you mean to both of us. These interviews that you've done 100 shows, and those 100 shows, it is safe to say that you have impacted hundreds of lives from these 100 shows that you've done. I mean, the interviews that you have conducted with these people and the way that they've opened up to you, and you guys got to know, I get to wake up to this every day. I get the honor of being with Lilian, and what you hear and what these guests on the show, the way that they open up to you is because of the way that you are with people. You guys, you got to know, like, you have an uncanny ability to create a safe place for people. You get these interviews, you get these, you're getting these stories, you're getting these real life instances because of the safe place that you create. And you do that in our relationship. And I love you to death for that. I appreciate you for that. But it is not enough for me to thank you.
Okay.
I've got some folks that want to thank you as well. You guys are going to love this. You're in for a treat because, sweetie, this isn't just me that you've impacted. We've got some guests.
Oh, wow.
We've got some of your past
Oh, wow.
Chasing Glory guests
That's so cool.
that have all sent in. And guys, thank you. She really has no idea. This is a complete, this is a surprise.
Yeah.
So we're going to start it off with the one and only women's champion, Becky Lynch.
Oh, my God.
Hey Lilian, I just wanted to say a massive congratulations on 100 episodes of Chasing Glory. That is incredible. Thank you for all your help in telling my story and everybody else's stories and bringing so much love and inspiration into the world. You're a gem and one of my favorite people.
Oh, my God.
But wait, there's more.
Okay.
For you guys that don't know, Lilian did an interview with Bedros Keuilian. This man, whether he admits it or not, has had an incredible impact on our lives. And
Yes.
Bedros, seriously, man, brother, thank you so much. He had a little something to say.
Hey Lilian, just wanted to congratulate you on your 100th show. That is a hell of a milestone. Thank you so much for having me on your show. I love how authentic you are and all the awesome questions that you ask, but most of all, I love the way you listen. Thank you for everything you do. Congratulations on the 100th show. Love you.
Oh, God.
And if that's not enough, we have someone else who's very special. Not to say that these aren't all very special people,
Obviously.
but this was another incredible story who just so happens to have an incredible acquaintance with one of the members of the WWE and a serious talent who has come up from the dead.
I think I know you're talking about.
Michelle McCool.
Hey Lil, just want to say happy 100th episode. I am so super duper happy for you. Real talk, you are changing this world and making a difference in so many people's life, one episode at a time. I wish you nothing but continued success for 100 more episodes, 100 more years. I, for one, will be listening. I love you, and congrats on all your success.
Oh, man, this is awesome.
She's a cutie. This one is really special. Again, all of you are so special in doing this. Everybody has had some really incredible things to say to you. And it doesn't stop here with Melina.
Lilian, I want you to know that I am so very proud of you. I love you. You are an angel in this world, and I'm so thankful to know you. I'm so thankful to be able to be your friend, to know you, to work with you. I am so proud of you. You have done so much good for so many people, and I am so very proud of you. And I want you to know that. Never forget that, even for a second. Never forget. I love you.
Oh, it is true. Never forget it. Make me cry. Snapping out of it. This, I got one more for you.
Okay.
And it doesn't stop there because they keep pouring in. Guys, you got to know the support that Lilian's been getting right now from everybody.
Jesus.
It doesn't stop there. There's a lot more than what we're seeing here. With this last one, he was one of the first.
Okay.
He is a freaking badass and he loves you to death.
Oh, man.
Hey, it's Steve Austin coming to you from the main streets of Los Angeles, California. Here to say congratulations to my good friend Lilian Garcia on 100 episodes of her wonderful podcast, Chasing Glory. Every time I'm on her show is an absolute blast. I'm proud of you, Lilian. Congratulations on all the hard work, continued success, and that's the bottom line.
Oh,
because that man said so.
This is crazy.
But I lied. There's one more.
Okay. Really? I'm gonna need a whole box of
for you
Kleenex,
guys. This was a very, very close relationship that Lilian cultivated over the years with WWE. And if I'm not mistaken, you were one of the first to befriend her. And this has been a relationship throughout the years and still continues to this day.
Yes.
So from another Hall of Famer to you, who is destined herself to be a Hall of Famer, your good friend,
Okay. Oh,
Trish.
Hi, Lilian. We want to say congratulations on episode number 100. Woo!
Okay, bye.
Congratulations.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Oh my God,
Her little
so
kids are the
cute.
most adorable things
so
ever.
cute.
Actually, some more just came in. Check this out.
Oh,
Hi, it's Nita Strauss, and I want to send a huge congratulations out to the incredible Lilian Garcia on 100 episodes of Chasing Glory. What a milestone. I'm so honored to have been a part of 2 of those episodes myself. Thank you to Lilian for your insight and your honesty and your integrity and passion for what you do. Here's to hundreds and hundreds more. Congratulations.
I just want to say a big congratulations to my good friend Lilian Garcia on a 100th episode of Chasing Glory. I had a wonderful time on the show. I mean, she's so comforting, and we had such a wonderful, wonderful time, and I absolutely loved it. So make sure you tune in for the rest of the episodes because they're absolutely incredible. But yes, and all my love to you, sis. I'm so happy for you.
seriously, this is blowing my mind.
I'm telling you, the support, it doesn't stop. But it's because you're so authentic. Lil, you're the most selfless person I know. Everybody sees it. Everybody sees it. This doesn't happen without you. You have isn't she tenacious? I mean, seriously, this woman is so tenacious.
Wow.
It's incredible. And you know, that inspires me. I thought I had tenacity, but I mean, you take me to another level. And I can't thank you enough for that.
Thank you.
Everybody sees this.
I appreciate
This 100 is the beginning of so much more. This is the tip of the iceberg.
Thank you. God, again, I can't, I'm speechless. I'm just so full of joy. You know more than anything that this show started when Dad was sick. It was the original podcast, and then we changed it to Chasing Glory. And my dad got to see it before he passed away. And it just means so much to me because of the way it was birthed, too. And I can't do it without you, right? So thank you so much. I really appreciate it. And now, like I said, let's just actually, let's go into the guest because I was so excited to have him on here. He and I had been going back and forth as to the timing. God, look at me.
No idea.
I can't stop crying.
This is a good one. This is 100.
Yeah. Well,
for many reasons.
This is somebody that is showing us, it took him 11 years to get into the WWE Championship. 11 years. Talk about tenacity.
Giveaway.
Talk about tenacity, right? Mm-hmm. So, Kofi Kingston. I mean, Kofi Mania went crazy. Well deserved. I think that he is the perfect 100th guest to show that you just keep pushing, and you will achieve.
Was it been 11 years? It took 11,
that's why I said 11 years.
11 years
for him to get,
When you think it's over, it's not.
It's not.
It could just be the beginning.
So thank you guys again for Chasing Glory, for making it what it is today. You're part of the CG squad. Thank you so much. And thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you to all my staff. And here
Lilian,
we go.
Hall of Fame. Start it. Start it now. Start it now.
That's
Vote.
really sweet.
Pick it.
Vote.
Go out there. Riot.
Well, for now,
you deserve
tonight will be Raw reunion, so that'll be great.
I love you.
All right, so here we go, guys. Then, without further ado, thank you to Kofi for being on and being my 100th. Here is Kofi Kingston's journey of Chasing Glory. All right, I am so excited. It is finally happening. Kofi Kingston is in the house. Welcome to Chasing Glory, dude.
Chasing Glory. We've been chasing each other, trying to get this whole thing together for a while now, huh?
Right? It has been. You know what, though? I always say things are meant to happen when they're meant to happen. And the fact that you're on here now means that you're my 100th guest.
Oh!
What?
100. Yeah.
Yes, that's special, dude.
Yes.
That is so special for me to have you on here because I've known you for, God, I think it's 12 years now.
Yeah.
Yes.
12 plus, for
12,
sure. Yeah.
I know. So
it's crazy.
I love it because I'm going to get to know you now better than ever, too.
Yeah.
It's time you spill the beans, dude. But first, I want to ask you something. Listening to that bio, the fact that, life runs so fast sometimes that you kind of forget all the things that you've accomplished in life. And so when somebody plays a bio and you're listening to it and you're going, oh my God, I did that. And then I did this. And then, yes, that's right. I did this. And I held the championship this many times. And, longest reigning tag team champions and all of this stuff. I mean, what does it feel like for you to hear that, to like all in one lump sum? Do you go, wait, I have accomplished some stuff?
Yeah, it's like you said, you do forget. And especially with the way that the business goes is that you don't have time to like settle in and think about, even like for WrestleMania, like Becky and myself, we had media like at 4 a.m. So we ended up having like 3 hours of sleep, and then we got called to Raw that night, then SmackDown that night. So I couldn't even like fully like grasp what had happened until like a few weeks later. But that's just like the nature of the business, is that like so much happens. And if it wasn't for like social media, there's a couple of guys on there who are always like, oh, on this day in history, you wrestled so-and-so and this happened. And there have been so many times where I've watched the footage and I have like no recollection of being in there with that person. Yes. I'm just like, oh my God, we did some pretty cool stuff, But it's when you do hear all that stuff kind of lumped together, it you kind of have to take a deep breath and just realize like, I'm doing something, I'm doing something right, but I still feel like I have a lot more to do, so we'll see. It's definitely a good feeling though, to say the least.
Well, for you, the fact that you had so many titles, but you didn't have the WWE Championship. And finally that came to fruition. I mean, dude, congratulations, because that was definitely a long, a long journey to that one. When you accomplished all the things that you accomplished, but yet you didn't have the WWE Championship, was it still feeling good, or was it still feeling like, yeah, I've done this, but I haven't been able to do that?
Yeah, it was almost like what was it in like Kill Bill when Uma Thurman, the bride, says, you and I have unfinished business, right?
Oh, yeah.
Like I felt like I had definitely like a great career. You know what I mean? Like I've been so blessed and so fortunate to have experienced so many things in this business, to be known for certain things and to be considered, a pretty decent athlete, amongst so many great athletes. But even when I was a kid, the goal was always to be WWE champion. When you're fantasizing about being a WWE superstar and like wrestling in the neighborhood with the kids, like we're not supposed to be doing,
Right.
The goal is always like, you know what, I'm in WrestleMania and I'm visualizing myself in the situation. I'm wrestling for the WWE championship. And so there's always something that was like in the back of my mind, like, that I needed to have it happen. But at the same time, I kind of try to like rationalize it. Like there's a lot of guys out there who have not won the WWE championship, who have had great careers, Ted DiBiase, Jake the Snake Roberts. There's just so many people out there. And it's like the title doesn't necessarily like make or break a career. But for me personally, it was definitely something that I wanted to do, but and I've said this in a lot of other interviews, like, I don't have any control over like the booking, or I don't have any control over like where I'm at on the card. The only thing that I can control is going out there and having the best match possible every single time, no matter what, whether you have 1 minute or you have 35 minutes or like an hour, whatever it is. My goal was always just to go out there and give it my all and try to do several things that would stand out. And regardless of what happened on the show, have people leave with the feeling that I did something special. You know what I mean? Have them remember me above everything else. So that was always the goal, and that was all that I knew that I could control. And I just tried to do that to the best of my ability, And luckily, the opportunity did come up when, unfortunately, Ali got hurt. But you were talking about like everything kind of happening for a reason, and I feel like everything. It just, especially this year, like everything just kind of like fell into place. There were so many things about Wrestlemania that like, that happened, like the timing. So number one, if Ali doesn't get hurt in the Elimination Chamber, I don't get put in that position. I don't even know if I'm on the WrestleMania card, So that in and of itself was crazy. The fact that the guy who I ended up going, having the match with was Daniel Bryan, of all people, who was in the same exact position that I was in, being demanded by the people. And how he's like all the nasty and dastardly names that they were calling him, I couldn't have had a better opponent. Like Daniel is awesome, and then from an even deeper perspective, like, being from Ghana, I hadn't been back to Ghana in 26 years.
Wow.
I've been wanting to go back for a very, very long time. My mom had been wanting me to go back. She actually wanted me to go back after I graduated from college. And I was like, oh, no. Like, I got to look for jobs. I got to fill out my resume, and I need to climb this corporate ladder. So I ended up doing that and missed out on the opportunity to go. But fast forward to last year, the president of Ghana declared that 2019 will be called the year of return, where members of Ghanaian, diaspora, anybody who have like African descent, he's encouraging people to come back and get reacclimated with the motherland. Like he declared that to be this year. This just so happens to be the year that after 11 years of grinding on the WWE roster that I ended up winning, you know what I'm saying? And now I can go back to Ghana after 26 years as the WWE champion, like the highest level of this industry, you know what I mean? So like if I were to win when I first debuted, I mean, it would still be cool to go back, but the story wouldn't have been there, being able to like, there's so many people, even still, it feels like it's been a lot longer than 3 months, but I think it's been about 3 months since WrestleMania. But a lot of people will come up to me and tell me how emotionally, affected that they were by that match. And even going through Twitter, it took me legit probably a good like 13 days to get to the bottom of my timeline. I take pride in trying to like read everything,
Wow.
But there were just so many messages, and then like videos of like kids, jumping up and down in their living room and crying and, so like elated. And there were videos of grown men who were jumping up and down in bars and hugging and crying, you know what I mean? So to be part of that moment was just unreal, and everything happened exactly the way that it was supposed to happen. You know, if it had happened any other way, it wouldn't have meant nearly as much. So, and then even so, check this out. When I went back to Ghana, 26 years, I hadn't been there. I actually got to see my mom's mom, who I hadn't seen in probably a good 25, 26 years.
Wow.
My grandmother.
Yeah.
And so initially we were planning on going in August. We ended up moving it up to, you know, late June or whenever it was that we went. And so I got back, and then she actually just passed away like 2 weeks ago. So like,
wow.
Again, like, and I'm not sad about it because again, like for everything happening for a reason, I got to go see her, you know what I'm saying? And spend a little bit of time with her. And it was almost like she was waiting for me. My brother actually went too, and like waiting for us to come back to like see us one last time. And, you know, let herself go. And then she passed away like 2 weeks ago. So again, even if we like were to postpone this trip and were to have gone in August, she might have passed away before we even got there, and we would have just missed each other. But,
and that would like probably been a little heavy in your heart.
Yeah, it would have been such a bittersweet trip. But being in Ghana, like everybody was just so happy to see me. It was unreal. Like, you know, it was legit like 10 deep with security, like all holding hands. And we had to walk like in the halo in between them all, and everybody just trying to get like a touch. It was just awesome. You know, it was just so fulfilling to know that the life's work that I've chosen has touched so many people so deeply in so many different areas. And just to be able to know that like at least one of those people will have been provided with a sense of hope and a sense of, you know, I can go out there and achieve anything. Like, to me, that's what it's all about. As great as all the wrestling is in the ring and having all the moments and all that, winning championships, amazing. I'm so happy to achieve my dream. But what's more important for me is to be able to motivate people to go out and achieve their dreams and let them experience even just a taste of the joy that I felt in trying to chase my dreams, you know?
Yeah.
So,
oh my God.
it's like serendipity. Yeah, man. Serendipity on like so many levels. It's just been crazy this year.
Oh my God, I love it. But you know what? The beautiful thing about you, Kofi, is your attitude and your personality. You just glow every time working with you, and even seeing you now and I'll go backstage. You just have the biggest smile. Your arms are always stretched out for the huge, amazing hug. And you're full of love. You're full of love and such a great attitude, even in the, I wouldn't say down, because you really haven't had the down times, but I will say that you've had the challenging moments, because you've gotten a lot of times you've gotten to the point where you're either like elimination chambers or elimination matches or the Money in the Bank or something like that, where it's like you were going to get that opportunity and then it didn't happen. And what happens to a lot of people is they get discouraged, especially after 11 years. Forget about it. They get so discouraged that they get bitter. They get bitter. They start losing hope. They're like, I guess it's never going to happen. Oh my God, this. And then they start getting so negative. And you haven't done that. So please share with everyone what the secret is to not allowing those little demons, when I call them the menahunis, and literally they're like right there, right? The menahunis that are just like, you're no good. You'll never get there. You're awful. You're this, you know? How do you like swipe those off?
Yeah, it's and it's not to say, I think there's a lot, like you say, a lot of people who think that like I'm like happy all the time and like whatnot. I think I go through it just like anybody else. I've had like a lot of different challenges, like you were saying, a lot of stop and starts as far as the career is concerned. But I think what I'm able to do is really kind of just put things into perspective. Number one, having this job to me this is all I've ever wanted to do. Even like, so out of college, I was working for Staples at the corporate headquarters, talking about office supplies.
Yeah.
Like 700-page buying guides that went out. I would have to like proofread those. I didn't need to go to college to do this, you know, and I would have to like sit there and you'd have to make sure like, so like the chairs section, you would have to make sure all the chairs faced in, like just like little, just stupid things. Like I couldn't believe like this was going to be the rest of my life, you know? So I've been on the other side where I know that a bad day in WWE beats the best day at Staples. You know what I'm saying? So like that, like,
no offense, Staples, but it's not for everybody.
That's what I'm saying. Like, it works for some people as far as like having that corporate lifestyle and being in a cubicle and having like the element of predictability, knowing what you're going to do. Awesome. Works for so many people. For me, it did not. Like, I needed to be outdoors. And I always just have that like in the back of my mind, you know? And like I said before, I know, and I learned a long time ago that like I cannot control everything. Like you talk about the stops and the starts. Well, I think it was my first, well, I guess technically second WrestleMania, but I was in the Money in the Bank match, the 25th anniversary of WrestleMania, and I was able to do some incredible things that had never been done before, you know? And which is like crazy to say, having guys like Edge and Christian and, you know, the Hardys and the Dudleys that had set the bar so high to be able to go into that match and do things that had never been seen before was awesome. I came through Gorilla, you know, standing ovation. Everybody's like, oh, that was amazing. Well, Cloud9, WrestleMania party, everybody's coming up and, you know, handshaking. And then Monday Night Raw, the very next night, I wasn't booked. So it was like, oh my God, like what I thought I did a good job. Did I do something wrong? You know, even like with the whole rivalry with Randy Orton, I thought that was going to be like what was going to propel me to the next level. We had an amazing ordeal at Madison Square Garden that people still talk about to this day. And then, you know, over time, it just kind of started to go away. And then all of a sudden, you know, I wasn't on TV. And then, so I've gone through all these things, but what I realized was that, I don't have control over like where I'm put on the card. Like the only thing that I can control is go out there and do the best that I possibly can. You know, I've always said that once this like begins to not be fun, I'll just walk away. Cause you know, like you were saying, I've seen it like a lot of times where people will be coming to work and just very discouraged, and rightfully so. You know, you put your life into this, it's supposed to be the dream, and then all of a sudden you're, you know, asked to do something that you know that you're above, you know what I mean, that you know that you can do better than. You're not getting the opportunities that you know that you think that you deserve. But like I said, I think it really helped to realize that like you literally have no control. A lot of times things don't make sense, you know, but it's not for you to like, you know, make sense out of them. It's up to us to be able to go out and do the best that we can with what it is that we are given, you know, and that's all that you can do, you know, like, you know, you literally can't do any more than your best, you know? So that was always my attitude, and that always still is my attitude, is just to be able to go out there and give it everything I have every single night. And, you know, that's it. You know, let the cards kind of fall as they do. Because if you know, if I end up like, I would always say like, if I ended up getting like released or, you know, fired or whatever, it wasn't going to be because of something that I did. You know what I mean? It wasn't going to be because of a choice that I made, or because like I didn't, you know, work hard enough, or I didn't do a good enough job. like that wasn't going to be the reason, so that I would have no regrets being here and doing this. So that's just the attitude that I have, is just,
I love that.
You know, definitely happy to be here and happy to go out and just try to steal the show every night.
Before we move on to something that I really want to talk about, I do want to ask you, have you mentored other guys that maybe you see them be so discouraged and you've been able to express some of this to them?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I'm always down to like give advice, because I was really lucky to have a lot of people pull me aside and give me advice. You know, and especially, you know, when you, times are so different now from when you were there. And I'm sure even before, like I got there and we were there at the same time, like things have gotten a lot more, people are a lot more welcoming and like willing to help, you know, and no one ever like messed with me. When I first came in, everyone was always cool. Everyone took me under the wing, but there were some people who would like go out of their way to give people a hard time. And I've never understood that, because we're all in this together. We're all going through the same struggle. We're all away from our families. We're all away from our homes. We're all on the road. We're all, you know, on the European tours 2 weeks together. So in my mind, we're all family. So why we wouldn't like help each other, it just doesn't make sense to me, you know. But a lot more now, the attitude is to go out and to help people, you know, because like sometimes you just need to hear somebody who's been in that situation and you know, it will give you, again, like we provide like obviously senses of hope for people who watch the product, but then also I feel like, especially with my story, being that it did take so long to get to this point, people on the roster look to that as like, oh my gosh, like, okay, it can be done. You know, if you keep at it and you grind and you just do the best that you possibly can, like, it still can happen, even if it does take 11 years. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, I have that conversation with a lot of people all the time.
How about Big E and Xavier? Are they looking and going, I want it too?
Yeah, well, the thing about it is that this is all of us. You know, I might be the one like wearing the championship title, but this doesn't happen without Big E. This doesn't happen without Woods. As a matter of fact, like when they approached me about being in this 3-man group, I was kind of at the point in my career, I don't want to say that like I was ready to call it quits, but I definitely was on the verge of like not having fun. You know, I was like the guy who was going to come out and be happy-go-lucky and, you know, have a great match and do some pretty cool moves and probably lose. You know, wash, rinse, repeat for like 2 years. And I was kind of at the end of the rope where I'm just like, man, okay, I'm trying everything that I can right now. Where does it go from here? Do I want to keep doing this, or do I want to maybe do something else? I don't know. But then, you know, Woods and E had approached me about doing this, and it was the perfect time because, you know, it was going to be a group of 3 guys who were not pleased with where they were in the company, which was a shoot for all of us, you know.
Yeah, because they struggled.
They struggled
to find something.
Sure.
They definitely did.
Woods in particular, and even like he had the Intercontinental Championship run, but you know, he saw, I think he was the champ, but then like Wade Barrett was getting all like the mic time. So now Wade's up on this, you know, this big scissor lift and cutting promos and just, you know what I mean? And now he's the one, you know, who's getting all the attention, and you're supposed to be like the champ. So he kind of saw his career going a certain direction. And we were all kind of at this crossroads where we all wanted more. And for me in particular, I was like, well, maybe I can use my seniority and I don't want to say like veteran status, but you know,
but it is true.
To kind of, I guess, and it's just weird to say because even like I'll look around the locker room and be like, we were looking at the like the card the other day, and one of our guys, Wes Adams, who used to be a referee, was coming to visit. We were in Mississippi, and he was like, "Oh, any of the guys still there?" And I'm like, I don't know who's gonna be there. I don't think Slater was there. So we looked at the card to see like who was like there when Wes was there, and it was like me, Dolph, and that might have been it. You know, like a couple other guys. And I'm like, oh my god, like we're the old guys in the locker room now.
Yeah,
man.
you are.
But we were all like me, Woods, and E were at the point where we thought that coming together would we would be so much stronger together, you know? And the more that I travel with these guys, I realized like how much we had in common, you know, and it just developed into a brotherhood very, very quickly. You know, we had our ups and downs trying to get onto TV. We spent 8 months trying to actually get onto television as a group. We'd go into Vince's office and we'd say, hey, this is what we want to do. And he's like, oh, well, no, maybe try this. So we'd go back and we shoot stuff on our own, videos, vignettes, put it together. Woods was awesome mixing everything. You know, we bought like outfits that we would wear, and we had character development and like put a lot of thought behind it. We'd go to Vince and he'd be like, oh, now do this. I'm like, start all over, do something completely different. So we went back and forth for a good amount of time. We struggled together, and then finally we end up getting onto TV together, and Vince tells us that he wants us to be like 3 preachers.
Yeah.
I don't even go to church. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, okay, all right. And we told him, we're like, hey, anything you give us, we'll be able to make it work, you know, and we'll just go out there and we'll make it work. And he sure did put that to the test, you know, by having us go out and be 3 positivity preaching, you know, evangelists. And we knew right off the jump that people were going to reject it, but he seemed to think like, oh, you know, everyone's going to get behind it. We're like, all right, well, we'll go out and do it. And sure enough, we went out there the first couple of weeks and people were kind of with us. And then the 3rd week, they just were gone, you know, telling us that we sucked. And it was awesome to get like that, to invoke emotion from people. But at the same time, we took it very personally because we did work so hard to get to that point, and to have someone tell you that you suck. Like, wow, man. And people are supposed to come and react. Like, that's what you're supposed to do. So I don't put any of it on the people, but it definitely did light a spark under us and be like, man, you know what? Like, they have no idea what we've gone through to get here. For you to tell, because that, if Vince hears that, like, oh, people are rejecting him, they think that they suck. Oh, he could cut the cord and be gone.
Right.
And they would have no idea how hard we worked to get there. And, you know, so to have your career kind of like live and die in the hands of the people is like, you know, it's a very real thing.
Yeah.
But, you know, we just embraced it. We wanted to be bad guys anyway, so it kind of worked out in our favor, you know.
Yeah.
And we were like a very different kind of bad guy, just being able to go out and be hypocrites, you know.
Yeah.
So it was fun. It was definitely fun. But like I said, like, this whole thing doesn't happen without E and Woods. You know, I have developed such an amazing relationship with these guys, and the more I'm in the business, the more I like understand that the bond that we have is so rare, because you see so many people who are like in tag teams who, you know, you see one person like who wants to be like, oh, I want to be the guy, so I'm gonna push this guy to the wayside, and he's supposed to be your partner, and then they don't ride together, or like there's so many people who don't do it like we do it, you know. So I'm so fortunate, number one, to have them as friends, as brothers, and then also to have had them by my side in this career, you know. And I mean, I can't say it enough. You know, if we don't have the New Day, I don't get to go out and show a different side of myself. You know what I'm saying?
What the beautiful thing is that we got to see a whole different side of you, because we knew that you were athletic. We knew you were great in there for sure. No question about that. But then to see your personality side and your quirky side and just fun Kofi and the clapping and all of that, I was even at ringside. Dude, you had me in stitches, like just laughing so hard. And I was lucky enough to see that evolution. I was lucky enough to, you know, I saw you guys filming backstage and trying so hard. And I talked to you and you were like, oh my God, is this ever going to happen? Right.
Yeah.
And then to see you guys come out in the Preacher, I even knew. I was like, this is not going to work. This is not. And I felt so bad. I'm like, because I knew how hard you guys tried. But I could feel it. I could feel it in the arena. But then to see it turn, and you guys just, you know why it worked? Because the three of you honestly have such chemistry with each other. You can tell you care about each other. You can tell you care about together, like making it happen. And then when it did turn and ended up fun and the crowd just went with you, none of you held back at all and had so much fun with it and decided, you know what, we don't care. We're going to be quirky. Even when people started even saying, okay, you guys are a little too kid-like. I remember, lucky enough, the four of us got to remember when we went to the Children's Hospital? Right. In Cleveland.
Right.
Akron, yeah.
Yep, Akron, yep.
And we went there a couple of times, and I'll never forget, it was Woods who said to me, he goes, you know, I don't care how many times somebody might say that we're getting a little too tacky or, you know, too kid-like or whatever. Look at the way these kids react to us.
Exactly.
And that was like the moment right there that I could tell, like, you guys are in it for the right reasons. And that's why it worked, for sure. Yeah. I want to ask you something, though, that's always been on my mind, because I was also there when you had the tag team championship with Evan Bourne.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. Boom.
Air boom, man. Hey. Pyro everywhere.
Oh.
Crazy. I just downloaded that song on Spotify, actually. I hadn't heard it in forever. So,
I bet it brought back so many memories.
So many.
But the thing that I felt so bad for you when poor Evan, because I love Evan. I love his personality. He was such a nice guy, and just, you know, just fell on the wrong side with you know, him getting suspended and all. And I felt so bad for you because you guys were in such a run. And then all of a sudden, again, it was out of your control. Nothing that you did. Nothing. You did everything. And then because of your tag team partner and the consequences of that, all of a sudden you're back to, oh boy, I got to figure this out again.
Yeah.
Because you actually then had a tag team with R-Truth, and then you had a tag team. I'm missing someone. Punk. Yes. Yeah. Someone really big. CM Punk.
Yeah.
Right. So did it make you fearful after Evan to get back into another tag team because you're like, geez, what if, again, it was in their hands, right?
Oh yeah, definitely. No, definitely not. So I think did it go? I think CM Punk was my first tag team partner,
Yeah.
and it was legit just oh, these guys are friends. And I think I came out to like save him, and then we both got beat up, and then all of a sudden we were like tag team partners. You know, every single tag team that I've been in, I've learned so much from my partner. You know, Punk. Just mountain of knowledge, you know what I'm saying? He was one of the guys, again, in an era where it was cool to like, you know, crap on people for no reason. He ended up taking me under his wing for, I still don't know why, you know, but I'm always just so grateful that that he did that because, you know, he didn't have to. You know, he could have I remember just like doing push-ups before my first match and seeing like a set of feet in front of me and look up and it's Punk. And he's like, he knows that I'm kind of like anxious. He's like, hey, just remember these people came to see you. And I'm like, yeah, okay. You know, and it just like put me at such an ease, you know? So we rode together. He was graceful enough to allow me to travel on his bus with him. And I learned so much from him. And we had such a great friendship, you know? So I'm definitely grateful for being on a tag team with him. And then also with Truth, you know, we always had so much fun. It was always just goofing off. And Truth is such a character, you know, and you know, little Jimmy and watching like that whole thing develop and then being on the live events and having these whole matches planned around an imaginary boy was amazing, you know, and even still to this day, the Truth with the 24/7 title, like I feel like nobody else can ever hold that title. He set the bar so high, you know what I mean? Right. But just an entertainer, man. And I think that like I learned that from him, being able to just go out and just entertain and have no, you know, not hold anything back. You know, and even Evan, I'm so grateful for the friendship that we have and the partnership that we had as well, because he is one of the most amazing athletes that I've ever gotten a chance to see, like face to face. And every single time that we would go in there, like we were always on the same team, but we always wanted to go out there and like outdo each other. But then we always wanted to outdo the other people, and it just made for such a spectacle to watch. It was always just like so much fun. So you know. All of the partnerships that I've had have been valuable, you know, on a personal level, on a professional level. And I don't have any regrets by any means the way that any of them ended. You know what I'm saying?
How hard was it though when that happened? How hard?
I knew that I would be okay. You know what I'm saying? You know, like everyone kind of faces the consequences for their own decisions.
Right.
For me, I knew that, again, like I have been performing to the best of my ability, and if I was going to get cut based on what somebody else did, then so be it. You know what I'm saying? Like I didn't have any control over that. Like I feel like, so I'm 37 years old. I don't have a single gray hair because I don't stress. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't believe in like stressing. You know what I'm saying? And I just won't stress about anything. You know what I'm saying? So I don't think that I was worried by any means. It's just like, all right, well, what's next? How else can we figure out how to climb this mountain? You know, what's the next mountain to climb? We just kind of got to keep it moving, you know, keep it one foot in front of the other and keep marching.
Okay. So this is a great segue because you're telling me you don't stress. I got to know a little bit more about you as far as who you were as a kid. First of all, I know you were born in Ghana. Mm-hmm. How was life for you in Ghana? When did you move?
So life for me in Ghana, I don't remember because I moved to the United States when I was about a year old. And it's actually funny because, so I always thought that I was 2 years old when I moved. And then on this trip to Ghana, my mom was like, no, you came when you were 1. I'm like, oh, okay. All these years, literally 37 years, I've been telling everyone that I've been in the States since I was 2. But I don't have any like recollection of Ghana when I was that young, but I did get a chance to go back in 7th grade. And I got to meet all my aunts and my uncles and cousins and grandparents and got a real sense of like people there at that time didn't have a whole lot or they didn't have as much as I had over in the States. Mm-hmm. So I was there, it was probably, so 1993, I was in 7th grade. And I came back with a real sense of like, hey man, like I don't need to have like things, you know what I'm saying, to be okay, because there's so many people in Ghana and then even all over the world that are happy with way less, way less. I mean, I remember when I went back in 7th grade, there was a kid or several kids who would get like the spokes of a bike. You know what I'm saying? Like just the wheels, not the tires, just the wheels, and be pushing it along with the stick. And that was the toy. Pushing it along, the streets and just having so much fun with that. And I'll be over in the States complaining about my wrestling figure's arm getting broken off, and then I'll throw it away because it's that, you know what I'm saying? So like it really put things into perspective for me at a very, very young age that like, just to be grateful for what I have. So, I feel like I've always kind of been that way. I was never like a troublemaker in school by any means. Never gave my mom a hard time, you know what I'm saying? But I've just always been of the mentality that I've wanted to like help people. And, I'm cool with anybody who's cool with me. So, I really can't think of even on the roster now, like a single person that like I dislike, it would take a whole lot for me to like dislike somebody. I always try to find the best in people and take them for what they are.
Where do you think you get that from? Your mom, your dad?
I think a little bit of both. A little bit of both. My dad is very much so into to helping people in community service and things like that. My mom is also the ultimate nurturer. Everywhere she goes, she's always somebody who is looked up to, and people go to her for advice. Even now, so both my parents are actually, they have doctorate degrees.
Wow.
My mom has a doctorate degree in anthropology. My dad also has a doctorate degree in library science. And they both have, I think, masters in library science too. So at one point, they're both librarians. My dad is still a librarian. He's the head of the reference department at Boston College. My mom was working at Merrimack College for a while. And then she ended up doing a lot of political work with one of the parties in Ghana. And so they were in power, then they ended up losing power. And then my mom did a whole bunch of like kind of campaigning and promoting and fundraising and things like that. And they ended up getting power again. So they ended up bringing her on board as kind of like the vice ambassador to the ambassador in France.
Wow.
Right. So you have like UNESCO, which is a subdivision of UNICEF, or sister company, and she's like the vice ambassador in France. So complete career change at 60, whatever how old she is, and she again just has that personality where like people go to her for advice. She always wants to help everybody, and now she's doing it on like a political like level.
Right.
So I think that my family, my mom and my dad have kind of led by example by going out and helping people. And I see like what they've done. I'm like, oh, I want to go out and I want to help people too. It was just kind of like natural. Even like the Ghanaian people, like they're very welcoming in general. A lot of people say that when they go to African countries, Ghana is a lot different and way more welcoming than a lot of other people are. Not that the other countries are not welcoming, but Ghana is like above and beyond. Just that's like the nature of the people, So I have a little bit of it in my blood for sure.
I was going to say it's definitely there. And the fact that you had your parents, I mean, what an example. Why did they move? They moved to Boston, right?
Yeah, so they moved from Ghana initially, basically in the chase of the American dream, to provide a better life for their kids. Educational opportunities were better in the United States at the time. So we moved from, I think, if I get the order right, I think we moved from Ghana to Clarion, Pennsylvania. And then from Clarion to Louisiana, where my brother and sister were born. I have so many memories growing up in New Orleans, like just such an amazing place to grow up, Mardi Gras and just the culture and haunted houses and red beans and rice and crawfish and all that.
Yeah.
And then my dad ended up getting a job at Northeastern University. So we moved from Louisiana up to the Boston area. And then I'm sitting there like pointing like on the map,
Yeah.
I was in third grade. So
Okay.
I went to and then I was pretty much in Massachusetts from third grade all the way to post college, through graduating and being in Staples and all that. So I consider myself to be a Bostonian, but it was by way of a lot of different places to get there.
Yeah. Well, before I continue with that story, I got to know real quick, why did I announce you from Jamaica for so long, and then all of a sudden,
Kingston, Jamaica, yeah, man, you know what I'm saying?
Why?
Oh my God. So here's the thing, like, when I was training, the big deal was that you needed like a character, right? Like that was the big thing. You got to have a character. Vince is liking characters right now. So I remember being on the way to like promo class, and I was listening to the Damian Marley CD, and I was like, huh, okay, this is an amazing CD, like legit top. I say this every single time, like top to bottom, it still holds up.
Yeah.
So one day I just came in, and they were like, okay, well, you got to go up there and cut a promo. And I was just like, Kofi Kingston from Kingston, Jamaica. I cut a promo on like Ric Flair for stealing my Jamaican beef patty, or like, giving him one that he threw in the trash or something like that, something dumb.
Yeah.
And then everybody was like, oh man, you got to do that. Whoa, that's right. So that was it. Like trying to find a way to stand out is like so important. And I didn't go with the Ghanaian character because at the time, Prince Nana, who worked for ROH, I think he still does, was like the Ghanaian prince, So for me to come out and be like, oh, I'm from Ghana too, everyone's like, oh, Prince Nana, you know what I mean? Like I just want to do something that would like stand out. So I went the Jamaican route, never having been to the country, knowing very few people of Jamaican descent, but I did listen to that Damian Marley CD several times, so I figured that it qualified me to pose as a Jamaican character. Yeah.
When did you get to make, like, why make the change? What was it that you were like, this is over, I need to go?
Yeah, it's so, number one, and I say this all the time, like it's hard enough to remember what you have to say, let alone how you have to say it. My Jamaican accent was garbage. It was horrible, and people on MySpace from Jamaica let me know every day with their messages like, oh, you're not from Jamaica. Kofi's not even a Jamaican name. But then people from Ghana would be like, oh, you want to claim Jamaica? Then you go beat from Jamaica. So now I'm getting it from like both ends. I'm like, guys, like this, you don't hold Samuel L. Jackson to the standard of being Nick Fury. You know what I'm saying? Like, what is happening here, So there ended up being
it was just promo class, people.
Yeah, it's just a character, guys. It's wrestling entertainment, world wrestling entertainment. I'm just trying to entertain. No, you keep Jamaica. I'm like, oh my God, it's not that serious. But we had who was it? What did you have? What was the question again? Why the change? Yeah. So I had an interview, and at the time, like Vince was saying, he told me like, no matter what you do, every interview you do, you got to be Jamaican. You got to be in character. You got to be in gimmick. So we used to have WWE Magazine back in the day, and they are obviously all like smart to like people playing characters. They know my real name. I'd see like a 203 number come up, and I'd be like, oh, this is like Carano or somebody from the office, and I'd answer and be like, oh, hello, what's going on? I'm like, oh, this is Sal from WWE Magazine. Is Kofi there? Are you available? Like, oh, I'm sorry. Hold on 1 second. What's going on, Sal? Kofi Kingston from Kingston, Jamaica. This is a print article, man. This is a print article. But Vince said, everything has to be in gimmick. And like they know and I know, and it's like just so awkward. Even like I had an interview one time with the guy who sang my music. He's from Bermuda. His name is Collie Buds. And he knows what a Jamaican accent sounds like. He knows what a Caribbean accent sounds like. I had to interview him. And now I'm asking him questions like in my accent, and it's just so awkward because he knows, and I know he knows, and he knows I know he knows, but I just have to keep doing it because Vince said, So an article came out. I did an interview with a guy from BBC, and BBC is like
England.
a big deal.
Yeah.
And so it was a regular media day. I'm doing my thing, and then all of a sudden, like I get to him, and he's just like, oh, so Kofi's a very African name. You're from Ghana. Why are you ashamed of your heritage? I'm just like, uh-oh. Well, no, Kofi Kingston, my mom really paid tribute to the motherland. I'm from Jamaica. She really liked Kofi. It's a very popular name over there, But he kept on grilling me. And when I hung up the phone with him, I was like, oh, my God, like, I don't know, man. This is BBC. This might be over. And then, like, an hour later, my mom calls me up. And she's like, oh, someone just called me to do an interview. I gave him an interview. He was asking about your heritage. And I was like, yeah, he's from Ghana. Other people from Ghana, like, they're upset that he's not from Ghana. And, but he's just playing a character and this and that.
Oh, no.
So then I'm just like, Mom, kayfabe, what's going on?
Oh, no.
So he had, like, gone through and found, like, my dad's number. And then my dad ended up giving him my mom's number. And then my mom just thought this guy was trying to ask her questions. By the time the article comes out, you can go look it up. It's like, oh, Kofi Kingston, he's ashamed of his Ghanaian heritage and this and that. And he like interviewed other people, and they're like, oh, then, you know, the guys from MySpace are talking about, like, yeah, he wants to be from Jamaica. To hell with this guy. So now this article comes out. And I remember we had a Raw in New Orleans, ironically enough.
Yeah.
And I'm outside Vince's office, and finally he's like, yeah, well, what's going on? I'm like, Vince, it's over, man. It's over. This article just came out. Everyone knows I'm not Jamaican. Like, what are we going to do? And he's like, oh, well, don't worry about it. You know, not as many people are going to see that article as you think. I was like, okay. So we kept on doing the Jamaican thing. And it wasn't until about like maybe 4 or 5 months later, I think it was like Bragging Rights, the pay-per-view. And right before we go out, we're like, yeah, I think we're going to drop the accent. I'm just like, oh, well, how are we going to do this? Like, well, we'll just have you just like start talking normal. I'm like, oh, okay. So if you go back and watch it, it's like Triple H in the, you know, we're going back and forth, and our team is like, you know, getting, you know, all catty and everything. And I'm the guy that has to calm everybody down. And I just start talking like this, guys, we got to get on the same page. If not, they're going to obliterate us, man. Well, come on, you know, what are we doing? Does anyone have any questions? And Triple H is like, well, yeah, I got a question. Aren't you supposed to be Jamaican? And then that was it, you know, and I wasn't Jamaican anymore. So a lot of people ask like, oh, well, did you forget about your accent? I'm like, come on, man. You think I would just walk out there and forget? Right. Like, you know, but
wow,
that was it.
Backstory. I love it.
Yeah.
I know.
It was the whole thing.
I always forgot to ask you, like, why am I changing it all of a sudden from Africa to Ghana? Like, what the hell does that happen?
And like, you must never get the backstories. You probably just like, no, this person doesn't have a last name anymore.
Right.
This person's first name is this. He doesn't weigh this. He weighs this. Just go out there and read it. You never get an explanation.
Never.
Crazy.
Never.
Crazy.
So that was the one that really stuck out in my head.
Yeah.
For sure. I always wanted to ask you that. I'm like, I love that we're getting this opportunity. See, backstage, you don't even get the opportunity to ask this. So
yeah, for sure.
Wow, thank you for that, because that's really cool. So funny.
Yeah, man.
All right, so everybody calm down from Jamaica and from Ghana.
I know, relax. And you know what the cool? So I ended up having to go to Jamaica for some promotional stuff. Maybe it was probably like 3-4 years ago, and I was like really nervous, man. I'm like, I don't know if I can go. Like, they're gonna know that like I was pretending to be a Jamaican, like there's a lot of people on MySpace that were mad. So these people might be mad too. Like, should I go? You want to send somebody else? Like, oh, no, go. It'll be fine. So I go, but everybody was so cool and like so welcoming. And they all knew like that I was playing a character. And I was so relieved to be again, like welcomed into Jamaica. And we had the greatest time, you know, got to eat some great food and meet some great people. So
that's awesome.
It's all good. It's all love. One love, you know, Marley. Right?
Oh my God. I love that.
This is Chasing Glory with Lilian Garcia.
All right, guys, I hope you're enjoying the episode. And how can you not with Kofi Kingston? So amazing. I promise to be right back with it. But first, I wanted to thank our sponsors. Without them, I don't know where this show would be, really. They do help a lot. And Cured Nutrition is a company that has been with us for a really long time because they believe in the show and we believe in them. Cured Nutrition is a company out of Colorado. Now, you've heard about CBD, and you've probably heard so many companies are now getting into it. Does it work? Is it good? Let me tell you, CBD is awesome. This is the one without THC, so there is no psychoactive component that you have to worry about, so that's great. But what it does do is it helps with anxiety, with depression, with inflammation in your body, whether you're suffering from arthritis, sleeping, like are you somebody with insomnia? You just can't get your brain to shut off and you can't get to sleep? How does that work day after day after day, right? So why don't you try this? CBD, incredible products from Cured Nutrition right here. Let me just tell you about, you got the Rise and the Zen. The Rise and Zen, it's exactly what it says. It's got mushrooms in it as well. But the Rise will also make it where you can focus more. You can get more clarity. So it gives you that spark that you need, even without coffee. Mushrooms are incredible. So that's the Rise. The Zen is what I was saying about helping you with sleep. So try these two products out. Also, they have the gel caps if you just want to pop a capsule absolutely easy. Or if you want to do an oil, you can put this hemp oil right underneath your tongue and totally feel chill. Again, you're not going to get the psychoactive component. You're just going to feel more balanced, less stressed out all the time. So just a little bit underneath your tongue, voila. I love these spices. Oh my gosh. The peanut butter chocolate, are you kidding me? Put that over a dessert. They also have the blackening seasoning. They've got the roasted garlic, lemon pepper, cinnamon honey, and smoky barbecue. Try these spices. They have that hemp, like I said, hemp-derived CBD in there. Just sprinkle some on that on your food. And then the cookie dough, yummy. This is incredible. I freeze them. This one's frozen right now. And they're just really good, gluten-free, 0 THC. It's got the hemp oil inside of it. So Cured Nutrition, for all my listeners out there, all you have to do is go to curednutrition.com. Make sure that you use the promo code GLORY. That will give you 15% off your order. 15% off your order, curednutrition.com with the promo code GLORY for 15% off your order. And you can use that 15% every time you reorder. It's not just a one-time use. All right, that's all my Chasing Glory listeners, curednutrition.com with the promo code GLORY for 15% off. Try that. You're going to love me for it. Another sponsor that I really want to thank, and I also want to let you guys know about it because it's something that's totally going to help you, is Simple Habit. What the heck is Simple Habit? Well, it's a simple habit of getting into meditation. All right, before you change the channel. I know some of you are like, meditation? That was me. I was not into meditating. I'm like, I am too busy. I can't just shut down. Every time I try to just close my eyes and not think of something, all I do is think of something. Well, that's why there's guided meditations to get you in to the process of meditation. And you don't have to just sit there and meditate for hours, not even 20 minutes, not even 15 minutes. How about 5 minutes? Can you give 5 minutes, even 2 minutes? Well, Simple Habit is awesome because that's exactly what they have. They have guided meditations on there that are so simple. They're like 2 minutes or 5 minutes or 10 minutes or 15 minutes, whatever kind of time that you have. You just download the app. But to download the app, remember this for all my Chasing Glory listeners right now, make sure you go to simplehabit.com/glory because that's going to give you 30% off the premium price if you want to get the premium package. You don't have to because there's hundreds of them for free, hundreds and hundreds of meditations. So what's so cool is when you open up the app, it's going to show you, I've already done like my answering, like you're going to answer some questions. It's going to show you some filters here of whether you want morning, sleep, sounds, commute. But sometimes if you just want just sounds, that's fine too. It doesn't have to be the guided meditations, but there's hundreds of people on here that you can hear and you can listen to them. This one's called like Let Go Meditation, Stressed Out. See what I mean about 5 minutes? How about Dissolving Fear and Anxiety? Feel at peace. Be here now. End your day and let go. Surrender to life. There's even weight loss meditations. There's a meditation for about everything. Try this, I would say, for a good month and tell me how you feel because I know for a fact you're going to be like, wow, thank you so much for telling me about Simple Habit. It really is a simple habit. It really has changed the game in my life and it has really calmed me and become more of a balance-centered person. So remember, go to simplehabit.com/glory for 30% off your premium price. But you can also get many of these meditations for free. simplehabit.com/glory. simplehabit.com/glory.
Now, more Chasing Glory with Lilian Garcia.
All right, so going back then to you've moved from New Orleans to Boston.
Yeah.
And you said school was cool, but what was the hardest? Because I mean, we all go through some stuff. Like maybe you weren't, bullied or anything like that. But what was the hardest thing for you then in school or growing up?
Growing up, I was always cool with everybody. For the most part, I had a lot of trouble, feeling like I fit in, like I was always cool with everybody, but like at the same time, like I didn't necessarily like fit in. Like the town that I grew up in, Winchester, Massachusetts, probably like 10 black people there. You know what I'm saying? So, like, there was a lot of times where like, you know, most of the people were all cool, but then there was just like a lot of, I don't want to say like racism or anything like that, but like a lot of times where like jokes were thrown around or whatever, and I didn't like have anybody to go to, you know what I'm saying? So that was always like a little bit difficult, but at the same time, like some of my best friends are still from that town, you know what I'm saying? So other than that though, like everybody was cool, man. Like I was the captain of my wrestling team, you know, played football. Everybody was awesome, you know what I mean? So
So
I
you
never
played
really
a lot of sports?
I definitely played sports. I actually went out for the wrestling team thinking that it was like WWE wrestling, and then I went up there and it was just like there were no ropes, you know what I'm saying? It was just a hot room. But I met even my wrestling coach, one of the greatest guys in the world, learned so much from him, learned how to be disciplined, and learned a lot of skills from wrestling that I apply even to my life now. So
like what?
Yeah, just like being disciplined, being dedicated, being a team player, working hard for the benefit of the team, you know, working hard for the benefit of yourself. Like wrestling is a sport where like it's just you out there. You know, you can't blame anybody. You can't say, oh, well, the offensive lineman let go of the block, so that's why he tackled me. It's like, no, if you go out there, it's one-on-one, you're out there. If you end up getting pinned, it's because of something that you did or you didn't do. And that's, you know, so having to like rely on yourself is, it's a valuable skill. It's a valuable skill to have, you know, and I really feel that, like just being disciplined, even with weight, you know, you have an obligation to make weight. And if you don't make weight, it's because you either ate something that you, I guess, shouldn't have eaten, or like you weren't disciplined enough to maintain. I mean, obviously you want to do it in like a safe way,
right?
But you know, if you don't,
I'm seeing that right now.
On you, right?
Kofi, I'm seeing that right now in the PFL as I'm announcing for MMA.
Oh, really?
Such a different game, and seeing the guys trying to cut and make weight, and then they don't.
Right.
And it's like, oh my God, you know, and some of them have even flown all the way from Brazil, let's say, and Russia. And then they're trying to cut, and then they don't make weight. So they can't, you know, or not wrestle, but they can't fight. Or the opponent says, okay, I'm going to go ahead and take the fight. But they lose the point system. So now there's no way that they can get points at all, even if they win. So you just said it. It's up to them. Yeah. And they didn't do it. So take me to that hard mentality though. Like why it's so hard. I don't know anything about cutting weight.
Yeah.
So how does a guy drop 20 pounds in like a night or 2 days?
Yeah. So I remember when I was there, like I never knew how to do it the right way. You know, I was a guy who was skin and bones. I had no body fat. It was very hard for me to lose even like 5 pounds, 10 pounds, like forget it. I just didn't have it to like cut from, you know? Yeah. So I think a lot of times when people like don't make weight, it's because you maybe shouldn't be cutting down that low in the first place. You know, your body's not supposed to be doing that, you know? But by the same token, if you are in a range that you can like feasibly get to, and you're regularly there, you know what I'm saying? I don't know. I feel like it's kind of your responsibility to kind of maintain that, right? But it's obviously easier said than done, by for sure. But there are like safe ways or more healthy ways to do it. You know, I know people who have lost weight, even like so Big E, and not that he's been like trying to cut weight by any means, but we look at videos. We just watched a video of us from like 2015, and I think he's dropped something like 40 pounds. Wow. But he hasn't, like, you know, in high school, someone who had to drop 40 pounds would go about like, okay, I'm just not going to eat. And you can't do it that way. Right. He just like changed his diet, you know, added some cardio, and then consistently over the period of years really drops 40 pounds. And like, you look at him now, me and Woods were like cracking up at like how much like beefier his face looked. like 4 years ago, because when you're in it, like you don't realize, but then all of a sudden you look, it's like, oh my God, like his face is chiseled. But he's a guy who like, he eats a lot of sushi now. I think he gave up red meat, you know. There are healthy ways to go about it, you know.
Yeah.
So I think like that's really, I'm probably the wrong person to ask as far as, I'm not like a body guy by any means. I've always been blessed with a great metabolism that I potentially eat whatever it is that I want to eat and kind of maintain. But you know, there are safe ways to do it. You know,
Aren't you glad
you have to like take care of yourself, you know?
Aren't you glad you're not in a sport in a way where you have to worry about that?
Yeah, for sure. Like, no, cutting weight is not fun. It's the worst. It's actually the worst. I remember, you know, talking about like doing things the wrong way. Like we'd have a match, a couple, you know, a couple days out or whatever, and then we'd go in like the sauna room, the steam room, and put on like sweatsuits and just get like super duper dehydrated and like lose all this water weight and be like all sucked out. You couldn't even focus. So we'd have to weigh in like in the morning and in school, and then go and have school, and then we had the match later in the day, and like to go through a day like completely like sucked out. It's the worst feeling, to the point where like after high school, I was like, I'm never going into a sauna again. I'm never going to a steam room again. And even to this day, I can probably count the amount of times I've been in a steam room or a sauna, and on both hands. That's in 20 something years, you know, because I just like mentally, I'm like, I don't want to do that. Like, and only recently I've been like, okay, I can just go in and like sweat a little bit because I know I'm going to like replenish myself. But it definitely left just a bad taste in my mouth as far as like, you know, I didn't want to feel like that, because it doesn't, you know, like what's healthy for you and what's not. So again, just like being able to go about it like the right way, I think is obviously the best way. If you can like, you know, if you don't have to cut, if you're not like feeling like good, you know what I'm saying? Then like, and again, like I said, this is all like, I'm an outsider looking in at this point, but, and it's easier said than done. But as far as like your health is concerned, like, you know what, you know when you feel good, you know what I'm saying? You know when you're healthy, because you can just look at yourself, you can see how you look, you can tell how you feel, just close your eyes and like see how you feel. And if you don't feel good, you probably shouldn't be doing what it is that you're doing, and you need to figure out a way to like change that, you know?
Right. And like you said, there's a lot of different ways now that they've come up with that. So that kind of answers the question as to why you didn't keep up with the wrestling. So then what happened after you graduate? Like, you decided to go to college, and then you decided to work at Staples. Like, tell me about all of that, and where did wrestling then all of a sudden go, this is what I want to do?
So even like throughout college, as I was going through, I kind of realized like, I don't know if I want to be like in a 9-to-5. Like, that doesn't sound like appealing to me, but this is what you do. You know, like when you're a kid, everyone tells you can be whatever it is that you want to be, go out there, reach for the stars. But then the older you get and you start to have dreams that are like outside the box, and you start telling people like, oh, I want to be a wrestler. It's like, oh, no, you can't do that. You're too small. You know, you're not tall enough. You're not 6'8", so you can't do it. So it's like, oh, okay, I guess I'll just keep climbing this corporate ladder, you know. I'll graduate from high school, I'll graduate from college, now I'll get a good job and I'll climb the corporate ladder. But then the more you do that, like, I always feel like there are so many people, even when I was at Staples, like a lot of us would gather around and we would just complain about the conditions that we were in. It's like, okay, are we going to complain about it, or are you going to go out there and change it? And for me, I was like, this isn't going to work, you know? So let me go out there and like roll the dice. Let me try to wrestle. If I achieve it, it'll be the greatest thing in the world. If not, I can always come back and do this, you know?
And how long were you at Staples before you made that decision?
I was there for about 3 years.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. And it was a long time, like walking into Staples, and like my first day on the job, I'm all dressed up. I've got my khaki pants on, my button-down shirt, my tie. And then my boss shows me to my cubicle, and I sit there, and it's a big, clunky, white iMac computer, gray walls. There's like probably 300 people on the floor, but everyone is like dead quiet, and everyone's just at their computers. I'm just like, oh my God, like this is going to be the rest of my life.
Oh, Lord.
I don't know if I can do this. But then you try to do it because you don't want to give up. You know what I'm saying? And you try to do it like as hard as you can. And it's like, no, this is not going to work. So I just.
Were your parents encouraging you that at the time?
You know, they didn't, not really, because they didn't really get it. They, you know, after going through college, because again, like nobody really knows somebody who makes it big in an on a platform that's like out of the ordinary. So it's like, oh, well, you went to school and you got all these degrees and all this time that you put into school. Make sure that you're climbing the corporate ladder. Like my mom was like, she supported me, but she was like, oh, but just make sure you're like still climbing the ladder at Staples. And I'm like, oh, well, I'm going to be wrestling on the indies. Yeah, no, it's okay. I'm going to be wrestling in front of like 25 people. And she's like, what are you talking about? And she never like discouraged me from doing it. But it wasn't until, just as a mother should be, just wanted to make sure that I stayed on the right path, or what she thought the right path would be. But now she's my biggest fan, and now she gets it. Like, I'll never forget when the first time they came to see me wrestle, and this was the first time ever, because they didn't come to see me on the indies at all. It was at Survivor Series in Boston, and this was when I beat Punk and Randy like back to back, a couple of seconds. And I remember like I got them tickets and I had no idea, like throughout the match I'm trying to like focus, but I'm trying to look at like where are they? I couldn't find them. And finally it came down to me getting like the hot tag, and I'm reaching down, and as I look down my arm, I see in the crowd there's my mom, my dad, my brother, my sister, and there they are. I'm like, oh, there you guys are. Okay, hot tag, let's go. Boom, 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 boom. And now like, I could see it in their eyes that they like understood, like they got it. They like people going crazy in an entire arena for me to get my hand touched and get into the match. Like now they got it, like they didn't understand at the time like how big it could possibly get. But I definitely knew, and just grinded, regardless of how big everyone was supposed to be. And even like when I wrestled for Chaotic Wrestling, we had a tryout at our school. We all had to go out and promote it, and we had to put posters up. So we're the ones who are wanting these jobs, and we're training, relentlessly for hours on end. And now we have to go out and put posters and advertise for other people to see that there's a tryout, because I guess WWE was looking for guys who were 6'8" and, 200, 30, 85 pounds or whatever it was. And like, that was none of us. And it was like, well, we're hosting this tryout, but are we not getting looked at? Like, it was a very just like, conflicting feeling. Like, I almost didn't want to put up the posters because like, you know what I mean? Like, I wanted that job,
Right.
So, it was crazy. It was crazy. And then again, like being at that tryout, to be one of the guys that was getting, actually I was the only guy who got signed out of that tryout,
Wow.
but to be that guy so I went up for one match, and I was playing like a heel at the time. I had no idea what I was doing. I had no business playing a heel. And then eventually a couple other people had matches. And so to set the scene, we had this tryout at our school. Dean Malenko was there. Tim Horner was there. Steve Kern, Fit Finley, Arn Anderson, Nova, Ricky the Dragon Steamboat.
Wow.
I know I'm missing somebody, but these are all legends just sitting around the ring. And I'm getting goosebumps over here, like even thinking about it, watching us wrestle. You know what I'm saying? And I'm just like, oh my God, like these are the guys. You guys are all the reason why I'm even like interested in possibly doing this. And now you're judging my career, like you are holding the keys to me achieving my dream.
Yeah.
So it was like I had that one match. It was okay. Didn't really know what I was doing. And then a couple other people had matches. Then I had another match. They're like, oh yeah, can you come back up here? Can you play babyface? I'm like, yeah, just go out there and listen, at that point in time. And, I sat back down again. And then they called me again. I was the only guy that got called up more than once. I got called up 3 times. Wow. Everybody else, with one match and done. And then I ended up getting signed off of that. And I'm just so thankful that I went to Chaotic, because I was blessed to have so many amazing teachers. Brian Malonis, Chase Delmani, the Logan brothers, Handsome Johnny, you know what I'm saying? Tommaso Ciampa, who was also there, Max Bauer. So there's so many people that were so good, and I was surrounded by like the greatest shell of talent and learned so much. And as a matter of fact, I just put this on my Facebook page where he wrestles as Ivar or Ivar now. I will always call him Handsome Johnny, but his journey, he was like the head trainer at Chaotic when I was there. And, I remember feeling like terrible that I got signed and he didn't, because he had been grinding for so long. So many people there had been grinding for so long, like, 5, 6, 7, 8 years. And now here I am in the business 8 months, and now I'm the one who's getting a look. I'm like, this is not fair. And that was like my first like understanding of the business, where it's like everything is not fair. Like everybody who, just because you work the hardest doesn't mean you get the opportunity. Just because you look the best doesn't mean you get the opportunity. There's no rhyme and there's no reason, and that was a very early introduction. But fast forward, 13, 14 years later, he and I just wrestled on Raw, and we finally had the match. Yeah. So I remember being like so ecstatic that he got signed, because he had some like back problems before. Like he had a couple of different injuries that should have ended a lesser man's career. Right. He grinded, went to Japan, went to ROH, made a name for himself, ended up getting signed with WWE, and now full circle, again, goosebumps. Here we are on Monday Night Raw, wrestling each other and having like just interacting. We hadn't tied up in legit over a decade. You know what I'm saying? So for us to be like, it was just awesome. Just awesome full circle. So happy for him. Someone who like just deserves it so much. Like he's so good, so good. I feel like he's just scratched the surface with this, Viking Raiders thing. And he's gonna be something special if given the right opportunity. So for us to be able to get in there, lock horns, like it was just full circle, like the apprentice and the student going at it in front of the world. And a lot of people won't know that, you know what I'm saying? Right. But after watching this, they will. Nobody, a lot of like the Northeast guys were, because they advertised the match, they were really excited about us being able to go toe to toe. But the majority of the people in that crowd, they have no idea about the history that's happening in that ring at that point. So I feel like I've gone off on a tangent. I don't remember what you
asked, okay. I'm going on that. Would you like to continue doing something with him?
100%. Yeah. He was so easy. Him and Eric. Yeah. It was awesome, man, putting matches together with those guys. Again, like they have so much experience, and they work so well as a team. To see the things that they do, like I've seen them and I've watched them on TV, but to see them in person, so smooth, man. Like they should not be able to do the athletic things that they can do. With you would look at their bodies and be like, oh no, these guys are going to be big maulers or whatever, and they can do that. Yeah. But you also see, Ivar out there doing dives off the top rope to the outside with his big self, so it's just awesome. And it really makes me excited for the WWE universe, because they're going to be they're in for a real treat with those guys. So hopefully down the line, we will get to do something with those guys. But the tag team division is coming up, and they are definitely going to be a big part of making it special.
Yeah, that's awesome. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah, man.
Your parents, going back to your parents being in the audience, were they there when you won the WWE Championship?
Yeah, my dad was, and my mom was in Ghana at the time. Okay. But always with me, you know what I'm saying? For sure. She was the first one that I called when I got back to the hotel room.
I mean, think about it, Kofi. For them to know your journey, I mean, from birth, right? They know everything. We're getting bits and pieces, but they've been with you the whole way. They've been with you when you were even cutting weight. They were there. Yeah. They've been with you even when you were at Staples, and then even they know kind of their own fear that they were like scared. And then them seeing like, whoa, he really did it. Like he did it. That's gotta be so rewarding for you, especially because now you're a father, which I want to talk about that with your kids. Like, what's the big thing now? How much did it change for you to be a dad?
So much, especially being in the business. I thought it was hard to be away from home before kids, and then I had kids, and it's like, oh, like this is really hard, because it's literally, sometimes we're on the road for like 17 days, 21 days or whatever, and then you come back, and then your child is doing something completely different than he was doing before. And it's like, I miss that. Oh my God. Like, so it's a lot harder. And then it gets even harder when they get to the age where they realize that, okay, when it's Friday night, Saturday morning means that you're not going to be there, or when you're leaving in your car, that means you're going on the road. And now there's like tears. There have been times where like my wife will be asleep, but my son will wake up early, and I have to get to the airport. I have to go, you know? Yeah. So I'm telling him and, you know, almost have to like, almost be like stern with them a little bit and like, sorry, I got to go. And now like, I have to put him down and leave. And he's in the window just crying his eyes out. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like having to like back away, just like, what? Like it's a very, it's a polarizing feeling, because you're going out and number one, like living my childhood dream and going out and doing a lot of great things for a lot of people. And then, but it's like, what about your kids? You know what I'm saying? And yes, at the end of the day, like we're doing everything that we are for our families and for our legacy so that we can all live this comfortable life. But it's hard to explain that to a child when he's 3 years old, you know, and they don't understand. They're just like, why is daddy leaving again? You know? So it is definitely a lot harder than it was. But I think it's like they're starting to understand kind of like, you know, what it is that I actually do. And they take a little bit, you know, I'm definitely like the cool dad, you know what I'm saying? Just today we went to like this taco joint, and I guess they had gone in there a couple days before, and my son was like telling one of the guys about me. He's like, yo, do you know my dad? So, you know, and then I get there and I'm buying tacos, and he goes over, he goes, hey, Kofi's here. Like, well, sir, I am daddy. You call me by my first name, you know? So I get a real kick out of just like the development that they've had. And especially like after WrestleMania, Orion, my youngest son, like he like fully understands it now. Like I remember Kai was always kind of just like observant, and then all of a sudden, you know, wanted to like get involved with like, you know, wrestling like other kids. It's like, no, like don't do that, you know. But Orion, I remember when he first started coming to shows, and like I was like on the ground having, like, I think I took some kind of clothes on or something on the ground, and like I look up and I see him, and he's just like, you know, just like faces, just like he doesn't know what's going on. He's like, why is daddy out there like fighting these guys? So like for a while he didn't really understand it. Yeah. But then he started to, and then eventually, like especially WrestleMania, being able to come into the ring and
that was so special,
and just be, you know, adored by 85,000 people. Like now we got back and like, oh, Kai, you want to wrestle? Boy, you want? So now they're just like, no, we gotta, like, okay, guys, come on, easy, you know, don't try this at home, you know, it's a work, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
But it's cool. It's definitely cool to be able to provide a comfortable life for my family by doing what it is that I love to do. It's a very, very rare thing. You know, a lot of people, there's always going to be some kind of sacrifice that you make to be able to achieve success on any level, whether it be acting or whether it be, you know, a sport or whatever. There's always going to be that kind of, some kind of a sacrifice. Yeah. But what it does do, the positive spin on it, is that the time that we do spend together, like we don't mess around, you know, like we're there, you know, we're quality time, we're present, you know. When people have kids in the real world, they have their 9-to-5 jobs. A lot of times you'll wake up so early that you won't get to see your kids in the morning, and then they'll go to school, and then you'll come back, and then you'll spend maybe like an hour with them before they go to bed. So you do that like 5 times a week. You get your weekends, cool, but a lot of times you're still not seeing your kid all that much. With me, when I'm home, it's all day long. We spend the entire day together, you know. Yeah. My wife is homeschooling my kids right now, you know what I'm saying?
Oh, wow.
So,
cool.
Yeah, so we are
Why is that? Just
why the homeschooling?
Yeah.
Just to be able to like do things our way and provide a sense of education that you know, that we believe in, you know what I mean? So yeah, but I mean, you know, we'll have them participate in like other social aspects and things like that. But you know, we have some pretty special kids that you know, we know kind of where we want them to go. Like we don't do a whole lot of screen time, you know. So a lot of times in school days, and it's gotten, we've kind of like, you know, opened the doors a little bit for them to see like a little bit of things. We actually had to go to the Apple store like 5 days in a row, so they got to go there, and they were just like, but sometimes you see kids on planes and they'll just be like so like zombied out on there. And I get it. Sometimes like you need your kid to not be screaming in the restaurant. So here, take this tablet and do this. But for us, we spend a lot more time like outdoors in nature. We live in Austin. There's so many different like nature spots. My wife, actually, you can probably go on her Instagram and see all these like, she's become really talented with her cinematic photography. And she's at Yogi Mommy Life, Yogi Bobby Life. She's on there. And she has so many different just like shots of them out there in nature. And they love being out there, going out and, seeing turtles in the water and like, seeing like the big fish, and like they know like about like the garden, and they know more about like herbs and spices than I do. We have our own garden back there. I'm like, oh, Dad, this is cilantro. Oh, here's I don't know anything about that. Oh, here's my first carrot. And they know how to like pick things and prune. So, it's just a way that we are, we like to be around our kids. You know what I'm saying? So,
I love that.
It again, like, especially for my lifestyle, when I come home, I can't imagine, maybe they'll go to like a school one day, maybe. But for me to come home and then have them be in school, and then they come back, and then we only have like 2 or 3 hours together, and then 2 days later I'm on the road again, like that would take such a chunk of time that we spend together away. So being able to
seems to work. This works.
Definitely, it definitely works. And like my oldest son, he's a free spirit. So we know him best. So it definitely works for us.
They were so well behaved too. Like even at Hall of Fame, I sat right across from you guys, or actually, I think it was right behind you, and I was watching. I mean, that's a lot of hours to sit through.
Loved it. Yeah.
And they were just soaking it up. And I'm like, wow, they're so young and so respectful and just courteous and just so well behaved.
And it's always a coin flip, because some days they're not, But when they put me in the front row, I was like, are you guys sure you want to put us in the front row? Okay. The kids are right here. And, they're just like enjoying the whole thing. Like, even, gosh, man, because so we don't, like I said, we don't have them watch a whole lot of screens. So with wrestling, we don't have them watch Raw. So they don't know what the storylines going on are. The only time they get to
watch Raw.
No, we don't even have a TV. The only TV that we have is upstairs, and we barely turn it on. So they'll see, like, I'll bring home like the pamphlets and the magazines, and they'll like go through and like know all the people. Then when they come backstage, they're like, oh, there's Bailey. Oh, I know her. I know him. There's Sasha. So they know them through the books, and then when they go to the actual shows, they know them because they'll see like a portion of the show. Even when we have them go, they don't watch the entire show. They'll watch my match, maybe a couple more if they're around. But other than that, like, they don't really watch a whole lot, So to be able to say that, like, to see them at Wrestlemania, like, taking it all in, and like they don't even fully know like what it all means, what I'm saying? Like, to me, like, that's the coolest thing, is because there's going to be a point in time where they do go back and they do watch and they do understand like the historical significance of what happened and the fact that they were in the middle of it all. And that's going to hit them in a way and hopefully inspire them to go out and follow their dreams, or, just understand like, hey, this is what all the sacrifice was for. Okay, I understand like why he did what he did, thank you, or not, you know what I mean? But they'll have an experience either way. So
do you want them to wrestle?
I want them to do whatever they want to do.
If they chose wrestling.
If they told, I'd support them 100%, 100%. But it is a very, very tough industry. If I had to choose for them, being non-biased, I'd be like, you know what, choose something with an off season to give yourself a break. Guys, NFL, baseball players, basketball players, hockey players make a ton of money. They also get an off season to go off and do whatever it is that they want. Do
you wish that here? Like, do you think it would work if there would be an off season here? Because I think more people are speaking about it.
Yeah, I don't know. We've done it this way for so long, and the reason that we're able to do it this way for so long is because that we are so entertaining and our storylines flow into the next. So I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I'm sure if it was like a mandatory thing that we would make it work, because that's what we do.
Yeah.
But again, like
does your body wish there was an off season? Let's ask that.
Lilian, I've been doing nothing but twerking and hip swiveling for the past 5 years. My body is fine. My body is fine. Trust me when I tell you, man. Like, that's the biggest thing that this whole New Day thing has done, has preserved my body. Like, I used to go out, and do all these like high-flying moves, and my body would be so sore, but it'd be like a singles match, and you'd have to do it like 5 times a week. Now with the New Day, there's always like a rotation, So when we have a tag match, there's somebody always on the floor at least one night a week. So after you have a night off, it's not as easy as we make it look, but you're not going out there and you're not taking bumps. And then even at that, like, we're in the ring and we're not necessarily doing a triple backflip, double cross body, touch, whatever. I'm twerking. You know what I'm saying? So, like,
and you do it very well.
Yeah, well, thank you. I try. So my body has been preserved over the past, 5 years or 4 years or whatever it's been with the New Day, and only now going back into singles matches, like, I'm fine. I feel pretty good.
Champ been a little bit harder being champ?
Yeah, I mean, it's been harder in the sense that, like, physically, yeah. I mean, I had two gauntlet matches to like qualify for WrestleMania. Being in the ring for over an hour in both.
Just a few weeks ago, you had like 3 matches in one night or something like that.
Yeah. But again, like, I'm blessed. It's being. I always say that it's being busy, but in the best way possible. Because this is what you want, this is what I've always dreamed of. This is the position that I've always been wanting, and I knew what came with the territory. So I'm all about it. I'm always up for the challenge, being able to go out there and be WWE champion and have, main event matches and go out there with guys like Dolph Ziggler and tear it down, and Kevin Owens and tear it down, even Sami Zayn and tear it down, and with Samoa Joe coming up with Extreme Rules, we'll tear it down too. So it's an awesome position to be in, and this was, this is always the goal, to be able to carry the company, to be in a position where you are the face of the company, to be in the position where people are looking to you to, put on the best performance. And it's an amazing challenge. It's the best kind of challenge. It's just, this is what you want.
Yeah.
If you don't want this, then you probably shouldn't be around. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you're not trying to get to this point, then what are you doing, really?
Yeah. So what is next for you? I mean, now this was a big goal. You've Grand Slam. I mean, you've done so much. What is next? What is left for Kofi Kingston to accomplish?
What is left? It's, for me, it's a one day at a time thing. The quote, and this has become my favorite quote. It's at the top of every mountain is the bottom of another mountain. So as hard as it was to get to this point, all the peaks and valleys that we had to go through, even, myself and Woods and E, to get to this point for myself, having to wait 11 years to even be given a shot. This isn't 11 years of like trying and failing. This is 11 years to get one shot, having to do that, behind the scenes, and then also physically in the ring, and keep myself at a certain level of, physique or being in shape. As arduous as that journey was, winning the WWE Championship, top of the mountain, right? But now it's the bottom of another mountain, because now it's about making this championship reign significant. I'm trying to be one of the best WWE champions of all time, and going out there and having matches with guys and tearing it down every single night, and going out there and putting on a performance on all levels that is memorable, so that it's not one of these title reigns where it's like, oh, it was already got there, but it just wasn't, it was kind of lukewarm. You're trying to make it red hot. So that's my goal right now, is every match that I have, every storyline and scenario that I'm put in, to make it awesome, make it just the best possible. I want to wrestle all of the people who are considered to be the best, so that I can go out there and go toe-to-toe with them and put on the best possible matches, and then on to the next one, and keep it going and keep on climbing this mountain. So
who do you really want to wrestle still? Like, you have
a lot of people. It's hard to put a single name on that, because there's so many. Even like, so Tommaso Ciampa is a guy who is in the same position that I always call him Handsome Johnny, but I have to get used to Ivar now. But a guy who, again, we all train together, and now we've come close. We've been on the same roster at the same time, and now it's a matter of doing this and being able to have that match. Even like his tag partner at the time, Johnny Gargano, is really good. There are guys, even like the Major Brothers, guys who I came up with in Deep South, guys who were like some of my best friends in the business. To be able to have matches with them would be awesome. To do something of significance with them would be awesome. Guys like Adam Cole, who, was top on the independent scene, top in NXT right now.
Yeah.
Probably going to be top when he comes up here. Do something with him. I love to do something with Rollins. I mean, Velveteen Dream. You know what I'm saying? Gosh, I could go on.
I love it.
I could go on and on. There's so many.
Yeah.
Like, we're in a really special time right now where there's so much talent on both rosters, and it's a great time to be a wrestling fan right now because of the fantasy booking that we can do. I always say, like, even with like Samoa Joe, you never ever thought you'd see Samoa Joe in a WWE ring. You never thought you'd see AJ Styles in a WWE ring. You never thought you'd see Shinsuke Nakamura. You never thought you'd see Kevin Owens. You never thought you'd see Asuka. They are all here.
Yeah.
And we have the opportunity to have great matches with some of these guys, like goosebumps again. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's a real cop-out for the answer that the question that you asked about picking one, because I just can't pick one. There's so much on the roster right now. And I want to mix it up with everybody. So
I love it. You know what? It's
fall.
great. It's great because I can see it all now too. When I interviewed Kevin Owens, it was wild because he was saying he wanted more, but he didn't really know what more was until we really started diving in deep. And then all of a sudden it was like, you know what I want? I want a long, real creative and a successful run as a babyface. That's what he figured out. And then all of a sudden, he's a babyface.
Here we go. That's why you put these things out to the universe. Affirmation, right?
Right.
It's very real. Energy is very real. The power of positivity is not just a gimmick. People think that it's like just it's a cool slogan. Oh, POP. No, man. Like, it is so real. It is so, so real. I'm a big believer in just energy and positive energy and, believing that you can achieve what you want by putting it out there and actually believing it, not just saying it, but like just, mantra type believing it, and putting it out there. And then all of a sudden things start clicking, Kevin Owens, case in point. So, it's cool when that stuff kind of lines up. Right.
Yes, absolutely. Well, I want to thank you so much because really it's been such an amazing journey and I could talk to you forever, but I love transparency. This is happening like it's past midnight your time.
Yeah. What time is it here? Oh yeah, 12:28.
Yeah.
It's all good.
I want to thank you, first of all, for even taking this interview so late, but this was your schedule. I don't want people to think that I was like, you have to do this interview at midnight.
No. I know, because so we actually, for those who were watching, we scheduled this at a certain time, and then I had to push it back because we were actually out to dinner. My kids chose that they wanted to poop when it was time to go home, and the restaurant was closed. So of course, this is where he's trying to just stay out later and later and later. So anyway, then Lilian was all apologetic about being, I'm sorry that that you're out so late. I'm like, no, our night just begins when we put the kids to bed. Then our day begins, then we can have some time to do some errands, be on the computer, watch movies, talk to each other.
So you're a night owl. You're a night owl.
I'm a 100%. I've always been a night owl. Yeah. And it doesn't really work out well with, having to wake up early because the kids don't care. They don't care that I've been up for a late amount of time. They'll always just wake up early and it's just up and off to the races again. But no, this was awesome, and like you were saying, I could have easily talked for another hour, 2 hours, whatever. We could have kept on going. So
it's so amazing.
Thank you so much for having me on the show.
Thank you. Literally, and having you as my 100th guest.
100.
100. Woohoo! Chasing Glory, having 100 more, especially with guests like you. Thank you. As I wrap this up, my final question to you that I always love to pose is, has your chase for glory looked the way you thought it was going to look?
No, definitely not. No, it's been so unpredictable. I've been, and I said this earlier, so fortunate to have achieved so many moments. A lot of them are moments that you don't even like, they're so far off the radar that you don't even like put them out into the universe because they don't like hosting WrestleMania.
Yeah.
What? Like, you don't grow up saying, you know what, I'm going to be in WrestleMania and then you know what, I'm going to host WrestleMania. Like, no, you don't even think about that because it's impossible, but it happened, you know? Just so many things, man. There have been so many things that have happened that even honestly, like, so when I was a kid, I just wanted to be a champion. You know, I wanted to come out and I want to go out there, win all the matches. And now being a WWE superstar, like being in the ring is such a small part of what we do. Like it's what we're recognized for the most.
Right.
But like you were saying, like being able to go to a hospital or go to a Be a Star rally, an anti-bullying campaign, or go to Ghana and motivate people to go out and follow their dreams. Like to me, that is what it's all about. So a long-winded answer to that question, but
no,
that,
I love it.
You know, it is not the what I thought that I would, I guess, value. I guess it ended up being just a lot more than just this. My eyes were open. It's like, oh my God! Like at the end of the day, like I'm just a guy who ended up trying to follow his dream, but for whatever reason, being on TV, being a WWE superstar, I've been so fortunate to be able to have like a level of influence on people. And I try to use that, you know, the celebrity and everything and popularity to influence people positively. And that is what makes me happy, you know? So that's really what it's all about for me.
That's what makes everybody love you, Kofi. That's what makes everybody love you. I have to ask this before we wrap up because it brings a really good question. You had that moment when you were in 7th grade that you said really changed everything for you, and you realized that it's just the small things that are so important and not all the material things. Are you planning to do that with your kids, like when they get to that age?
Yeah. Oh, you take them to Ghana?
Yeah, or or somewhere else that they can see how the other world lives, that it's not all about materials.
Absolutely. And honestly, that's the big part of like homeschooling too, is to be able to go and take your kids and bring them to wherever and let them experience just a different culture. I think it's so important. We were actually going to have my family go with me to Ghana, but the way that this trip ended up being, it was like 4 days of intense, it was work, you know, it wasn't like for my kids are 6 and 3. So it would have been like a lot. And then even with everybody, like so many like big crowds and stuff like that, like it wouldn't have gotten, I don't know how the experience would have been for them. I don't think it would have been something that they would have appreciated, you know, because
they wouldn't have understood it.
They wouldn't have understood. You're right.
The real Ghana. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but going there is definitely something that I want for them. Number one, to be able to, you know, just reacclimate with their history. And then also, again, just to realize that, like, you know, you're complaining about the food not having enough salt, and now you want something else.
Yeah.
Some people don't have salt, you know, so just be able to go at an age where they can realize that, I think is very, very important, because it was, for me, it was really, it really grounded me, you know, like, and I was always pretty grounded, but that was really solidifying as far as like, you know, I'm all right. You know what I'm saying? I'm doing okay. I might think that I'm struggling, but I'm doing okay, because there's a lot of people out there who are, you know, in a lot more of a you know, more of a predicament and a challenging situation. Yeah. So I'll definitely want to establish that in them for sure.
Thank you so much, Kofi. Please continue being you. We need you in this world.
Thanks, Lilian.
We need you. Oh my God. All right, tell everybody where they can find you on social media to keep up with you.
For sure, I'm on Twitter at True Kofi. I'm on Instagram, or the Gram, as the kids call it, at the True Kofi, and that's about all I do. Snapchat is I'm too old for Snapchat. You know, I'm a grown.
Me too.
Like, there's too much. It's too
not
much.
Even too old. It's too much.
It is too much.
It's driving me crazy. There's already the Facebook and the Twitter and the Instagram and the this and the that. It's like, it's I want to be present too. Have time to be present.
Yes, 100%.
All right, well, sending you much love. Go out there, keep killing it, and keep inspiring and just being you. Love you.
Thank you so much. Appreciate you having me on.
Thank you.
Chasing Glory with Lilian Garcia.
And there you have it. There's a reason why Kofi Mania is going crazy and continues to go crazy, because this man is the real deal. Heart of gold, more than anything. True talent, but a heart of gold. Thank you, Kofi, for giving us such a great interview and so inspirational. My God, you are so inspiring. So I can't wait to see you now in your continued journey with all these guys that you want to go against. I love it. Can't wait to see it. Anyway, thanks again to everybody for the 100th episode. I got emotional in the intro for good reason. Thank you to all my guests, and thank you for all those beautiful messages. Thank you for all the beautiful messages that you guys continue to give me with all your reviews on Apple Podcast. And remember, now you can check out this episode on youtube.com/Lilian Garcia and see it there for yourself. And make sure that you go to @Chasing Glory Podcast on Instagram. And also now Chasing Glory has its own website, chasingglorypodcast.com. Thank you to my sponsors, Cure Nutrition. Man, you've been with me for so long. Thank you so much for your continued support of the show. And that's curednutrition.com. Incredible, incredible products that you guys heard about earlier in the show. So thank you. Also to Simple Habit, so that you guys can, get that simple habit of getting meditation into your life. Even 5 minutes a day makes a difference. Go to simplehabit.com/glory, and that will get you the premium service there for 30% off. All right. So thank you to my sponsors. Most of all, thank you. Thank you, all of you, my CG squad. Let's continue to spread the word out there. Thank you for the 5-star rating. Make sure you subscribe to the show, and just keep telling people to listen to the show so that people do not feel alone. And we, squash the epidemic of suicides in this country. So here goes to the next 100 episodes. All right. Thank you. I love you. Remember to go out there and live with much peace, love, and passion. And above all, be yourself and trust that it's enough. See you guys. Mwah. I love you.
Thanks for joining us here on Chasing Glory from executive producer Lilian Garcia. Don't forget to share this episode with your friends, and be sure to subscribe at Apple Podcasts or wherever you get your favorite shows.